going to talk about the couple of MMTs that are left that are a little trickier. We already covered the big one, which was abductor pollicis longus and brevis. So now we're in the hand, and we just talked about lumbricals, so that's an easy segue. So if we know the muscle actions, we know what we need to do for the MMT, right?
Yes.
Pretty much. So what's the lumbrical position? Are you able to get into the lumbrical position? So you are going to flex MCP, extend. So there we go. So that was challenging, but he was able to do it. It's okay. Whoever was on the meeting the other night, I wasn't able to do it very well either. So where is my force going to be? There will be force on the proximal phalanx. When I'm on the proximal phalanx, what direction should I press in? Yes, I should press into extension. So if we're testing MCP, I'm going to want to stabilize the distal metacarpals. I could do one at a time, hold, or I could do them all together. And he isn't flexing at the IPs. He's also not extending at the IPs. You could see that if he's really firing lumbricals hard. But that really wouldn't be a compensation technically because it's the same muscle working. If you see him flex at the IPs, that is your compensation. This test, it has multiple muscle actions at multiple joints, so I'm not done. So I only need to do one more. I'm going to stabilize now at the actual proximal phalanx, and my force will go into flexion on the middle phalanx. So we will just test that joint. You don't need to do the distal phalanxes as well. So then you are testing the flexion and the extension component at the lumbricals, and that is your lumbricals test. So we're not going to ask you to do lumbricals flexion or extension. You should know it has two different actions at two different joints, and you have to do both of them, but you can't really do them at the same time. You could, but it would look really weird. Questions? Okay, the other one that's a little tricky, Palmar and dorsal interossei muscles. Who that wasn't at the meeting the other night knows what those muscles do?
Adduction, abduction.
Okay, good. You guys know about the pads and the dabs. So the Palmar adducts, the dorsal abducts. What's tricky about your middle finger? What does your middle finger do? It cannot adduct to itself. That's right. It abducts both ways, can't adduct to itself. So if you are performing this test, you should know that. So these ones, you can spread your fingers. I believe the book shows you stable, actually it doesn't show you stabilizing. It shows you pressing on the middle finger. Ooh, and he is not very strong here.
What the heck?
Are these like super strong muscles?
Oh my god.
No, they're not super strong.
Oh my god.
But he should be able to hold a little bit more than he's holding. So weak sauce is the official grade that I give him. You want to try mine? Mine probably aren't any better. Oh, what a stronger. Oh, we're not done. I'm sorry. Okay, and then there is also an abductor digiti minimi. I believe that one would be just the same. There's a chance they tell you to do it here at the 5th metacarpal. I'll just tell you I'm not going to put that one on the practical. I don't know, Dr. Winter, is adductor digiti minimi in the...
It's on the list.
I know it's on the list. Is it in the book?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so there's abductor digiti minimi. There's also a flexor digiti minimi brevis. That one you could actually do with force at the distal metacarpal because it flexes the CMC joint as well, so that would be how you could differentiate it from everything else. I probably also won't ask that one on the practical. However, these muscles could show up on good written questions. And then if we are doing adduction, that is our palmar muscles. And you can stabilize middle, pull out. You can do that from any of the fingers, and basically you're at about the PIP joint. You can be on like the distal aspect of proximal. Again, these muscles aren't super strong, so you do not need to go very distal to get a huge lever arm, because if you can't break them, then you have some like very weak shoulder muscles or something. So those are the main tricky ones. So focus on pads, dabs, lumbricals. Let's practice those. The abductor and flexor